Welcome to another video tutorial. In this tutorial we're gonna write a program that reads in a list of points given by their x and y coordinates and determines the pair that is the farthest apart. Okay, so here we're gonna use struct in order to struct point in order to hold the members x and y. So firstly, I begin with including essential libraries, which are standard input-output and math library as well. Because why math? Because I'm going to use some functions from this header to find the distance between 2 points. Then I'm going to declare the struct, which is called struct point, and it has members x and y. So these members will be the x and y coordinates of the points. And then I need to put semicolon here. And then again I can begin with writing the prototype of the function that I'm gonna use in this video tutorial. First of all, I'm gonna write scan point function, which is gonna scan the members of the array. So here I am declaring another struct point p. It's like I'm declaring an instance of struct point here, point struct here. So now I want to declare a pointer here because I'm gonna use the address to pointer which points to the address to hold the values for these variables. Okay, so here this pointer will point to the address where the x and y will be held. Okay, now I'm gonna write here main function. So first of all, let's begin with this scan point function. Here firstly I want to print enter x and y coordinates, and I'm gonna scan them with the help of scanf. And as there are as the data types of the members are float, I have written here %f, and here I want to store the first variable in the address that this pointer points to. So I'm using ampersand here and p2rp, and when we are using struct pointer to struct, we are using the array not the array but arrow it's arrow to access the members. Okay, that's why we are writing it like that. So, and the second variable that the second value that the user gonna enter will be held in the address that the pointer points to for the y. Okay, so this is about scan point function. And then after scanning, I want to print this point, and it's gonna take p, just point instance of the p instance of the struct point, and to print them I can write I can just write this print f. Yeah, let's print them with the %g. And yeah, I can put a \n new line character, and p.x, which is the first point coordinate, and p.y, which is the second coordinate of the point. Okay, so with the help of these functions, these two functions, we can scan the coordinates and we can print them. And after that, what we need to write here. You have seen these two functions in the previous videos, but now we're gonna declare another function which is called pointDist. So here void pointDist. I just gonna write it like that. So the pointDist is gonna find the distance between 2 points, right? So I'm gonna use struct point p1 and struct point p2 in order to find the distance between 2 points. Now it's the prototype, and I'm sorry it's not void, because it's gonna return us some value which is gonna be a float, which can be a float, so that I'm writing is it has a float. So yeah, it's gonna return me a float, it's gonna return me the distance. So I'm declaring distance variable here, and which is equal to now the distance, the formula that we are using to find the distance between 2 points is like sqrt power. Now here p1 point x coordinates of p1, x coordinate of p1 subtract x coordinate of p2 and its square plus power y coordinate of p1 subtract y coordinate of p2 second point square. Yeah, this is if you remember that it's like x1 minus x2 plus y1 minus y2. Here we have 2 points, that's why struct point, that's why we are accessing their members. So each instance p1 and p2 holds their own coordinates, that's why we are using it this formula like that. And then we want the function return us the distance, so we are writing return distance. Okay, now we have written our 3 functions, main functions that we are gonna use in the main function. Firstly, in the main function I'm gonna declare length, and I'm asking the user please enter length for the array, and then I am going to declare the array of struct point. I'm going to just call it array, and which has the length elements. Okay, so for example, if user enters 5, so this array has 5 elements, and by the way I have to scanf here, to use scanf here in order to get the length from the user. Okay, after that so we have declared the array, and then it has length. Now what we want to is to scan to use scan point in order to scan the elements, the coordinates for this arrays So for example, let's say array 0 will have 2 coordinates x and y. Array 1 will have 2 coordinates x and y, and so and etc. So for this, of course, we're going to use for loop again. I is equal to 0, I is less than length I plus plus. Now I'm using so I can print like enter point percentage d. So here I'm not using I just want to put new line characters. So enter point I, so enter point 0, enter point 1, etc. Then scan this point. So to scan it, so this is gonna take the address. So so this ptrp is gonna assign the variables to the address that we pass it here. So I just gonna pass array I. Okay, so it's like I'm saying the in the array 0, in the address of array 0, in the address of array 0 hold the variables that the user has entered for x and for y. Okay, and yeah, that's all for about scanning. So I just gonna call it scanning. And then for printing, we are using the same for again. I is equal to 0, I is less than length I plus plus. Now here I can say yeah, I can write enter point. Okay, so I can write printf point %d, which means 0.0, and to print its coordinates, so I'm just gonna pass the array I. Okay, so array I is gonna have 2 coordinates, and it's gonna be printed as we have declared it here. Okay, now so far we can compile and run to see the errors and warnings. So here I have problem missing character, one missing character, printf. What's the problem here? Okay, so I don't know why it's sometimes push some warnings like that. So as I'm using mass library, I'm just gonna run it like this, linking a mass library function here, mass header here, and so this part is compiling, and now I'm running. After compiling, I haven't declared the name for the executable, so the name by default is gonna be a.out. So I please enter length, let's say 1, and enter 1.2, 3.4. Okay, 0.0. All right. So what happened here? I have entered length, and then it's point 0, first point, which has x and y, so I scan them 1.2, 3.4, and then I print them. So far the functions they work properly. Now we can continue. So now we're gonna declare new variables. One of them is gonna be I'm gonna call it farther, far distant. I'm just gonna call it far distant, and I am gonna initialize it with 0, 0, and then I need to declare. So as the program says, that store them in an array, and we have to find the pair that's the farthest apart. So it means that we're gonna have 2 points which are the farthest apart. So these 2 points is gonna be struct point p. Let me see if I have declared p1. Okay, no. So I'm just gonna call it far point 1 and far point 2. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna have this far point 1 and far point 2. Now I'm gonna write for loop, which will work to find the farther farther points between each other. So I is beginning from 0, and then in order to find the distance between 2 points, which actually here let's say that if the user enters 3, so we're gonna have 3 array which has the xy coordinates. So I'm gonna declare them. I'm gonna declare the first array. I'm gonna compare the first array with the rest, and then that's why firstly I'm beginning with 0, and then I'm beginning with I plus 1. So it's like I'm comparing the first array with this with the rest, with the second, and then with the third, and then I come here and I increment I. So it's like I'm comparing the second array with the rest, etc. So that's why it's beginning with I plus 1, and G is less than length, and G plus plus. So here I'm declaring okay, I should declare one more variable here, which is just called distance. Okay, so here distance is equal to the find this what's it, point distance, yes, point. So here I'm calling point distance function, and I am passing as arguments RE and RG. Okay, so it will be R0. First it will be R0, and then R1. Then it's gonna compare R0 with R2, R0, R3, etc. And then it's gonna compare, it's gonna increment the I, so it's gonna compare R1 with is 2, then R1 with R3, etc. So I hope you understand how it works. And yeah, this is equal to the result of the function, to the return value of the function. And if as we are finding the farthest point, farthest distance, so I am comparing it with farthest, and if this is greater than farthest, then farthest is equal to dist. So I'm assigning the value of dist to farthest variable, and then so here we have far point 1, so far point 1 will be equal to Ri, and far point 2 is Rg. Okay, so let's say that we found that the farthest points are R0 and R5. So it will be assigned to the first R0 will be assigned to the far point 1, and R5 will be assigned to far point 2. And thus we will have 2 points and their coordinates. So now what we want to is to show them to the user. So I'm gonna write the farthest points. So I'm declaring, I am printing them point 1. So here I'm declaring, I will show their coordinates as this. So point 1 is gonna be far point 1 dot x and far point 1 dot y, and it's gonna work for the second point as well, far point 2 dot x and far point 2 dot y. So thus we found and we print the coordinates. Now I think we can run this program. Okay, so I'm using this command from terminal. So please enter length, so let's say 4, and for point 1 I just gonna enter this random points, coordinates 7.6 and 4.7 and 5.9. So So the program shows us the farthest points. Farthest points are the 1.2, 3.5 and 3.8, 7.6. Okay, so I hope everything is clear, and if you have any question, feel free to ask during the office hours. See you.